My name is Dina. In this presentation, I will present my draft essay on call for proposal of an integrated environmental assessment of solar photovoltaic power station project in Mandalika, West Nusa Tenggara Province, Indonesia. So this is the outline of my presentation. So the first part we'll talk about the proposed project, and the second part we'll talk about the term of reference for the integrated environmental assessment. So this is the proposed project. There is a plan to develop a large-scale solar farm on the north side of Mandalika Special Economic Zone. This is the map of Mandalika Special Economic Zone, and in this box show the location in which the solar farm will be developed. This is located in West Nusa Tenggara Province in Indonesia. So if you see the map here, this is Australia and this is the Nusa Tenggara Province. The project will convert 50 hectares of agricultural area in Sukadana and Kuta Villages into a solar farm. And this area is apparently at the same time situated within the buffer zone of Tanjung Tampan Nature Park. And the construction of the project will take approximately 2 years with a budget of $3 million and everything goes as planned. The plan will reach its full capacity by the end of 2020. And the full capacity of the power station is 50 megawatts. And once operational, 50% of the power will be distributed to the Mandalika business zone, and the remaining 50% is allocated to local residents. And the approximate number of people of Sukadana and Kuta villages who will be directly impacted positively and negatively by the project is around 13,000 people. The developer of the project is a state-owned infrastructure company, PT Sarana Multi Infrastruktur. This is the timeline of the project, and according to this timeline, the environmental assessment should be conducted next year in 2018, so the construction could start in 2019. So moving on to the potential impact of the project. As you can see here, there are a range of positive impacts and negative impact of the project. The positive impact including increased electricity supply and coverage, provision of clean and silent energy, improvement of access routes into project target areas, and market for supply of structural construction material, and also the negative impact of the project including land degradation, habitat fragmentation, degradation of vegetation, wildlife may flee or move to a lower quality habitat, soil degradation, water depletion, change in local climatic pattern, disposal of solid waste, and there are also social impacts such as loss of livelihood from agricultural land, indirect effect on labor market, occupational safety and health, impact on visual aesthetics, land disputes, and traffic accidents because of glare risk by reflection. So here I want to emphasize that most of these negative impacts are caused by land use change from agriculture and at the same time from buffer zone of a protected area to an empty field for solar farm. So for this assessment, the impact of the project should not frame like a list, but in a way that it measured and framed using the 4 types of ecosystem services following the classification of Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, which are provision services, regulating and supporting services, and cultural services. We adopt this approach because we want to describe the link between natural capital and its services to the element of human well-being. Why? Because we think that the endpoint of this project should be to improve human well-being, and this infrastructure is one of the means of the end. Moving on to justification for this assessment. So the main reason why we need this assessment, because there is a rule, specifically Indonesian law number 23 number 1997 on environmental management. It says that all developers are required to prepare an environmental impact study, any kind of study, for any planned business and activity that has large and significant impacts. There are also explanation of what constitute the significant impacts, and this solar project is one of the projects that has significant impact. And therefore, the study is undertaken. But it is important to note that this assessment is different from Indonesian Environmental Impact Assessment, or we call it AMDAL, or any environmental assessments, as it analyzes and synthesizes not only the biophysical environment, but also the economic and social data in both holistic and participatory way. This integrated assessment is needed considering the environmental and social significance of the proposed area, and not only because of the land is situated between the buffer zone of the nature park, but also because at the same time, in the same location, the land is used by villagers for agriculture, like cropping and grazing, and most of the villagers are living and largely dependent on subsistence agriculture for their livelihood. So just assessing the biophysical environment is not enough to capture all the full range of impacts of the project. Now, the objective of the study. The broad objective of the study is to promote the fair and equitable long-term environmental, social, and economic development of the Mandalika Special Economic Zone through provision of clean energy from PV power station, following the principle of relevant sustainable development goal. While the specific objective of the study are to establish the environmental objective based on the consensus of multiple actors and relevant audience, to promote review of potential changes in land uses and functions that can result from the project, to provide guidance for decision makers on the consequences of varying development actions, including inaction that incorporates a higher degree of stakeholder participation, and to promote strategies to deal with risk, uncertainty, and discounting the future. The method to conduct this integrated environmental assessment study should refer to UNEP guideline for conducting integrated environmental assessment, with consideration of time, budget, and data availability. The principle of the method of this study is integration in terms of what to assess and how to assess. In terms of what to assess, this study will assess the full range of impacts of the project in a holistic way, not only biophysical environment, but also social and economic state. And in terms of how to assess, the study should incorporate a higher degree of stakeholder participation and taken into account social classes, gender, indigenous people, minority, and other traditional marginalized groups in decision making. Any major decision made in this study should be in accordance with a deliberative democracy workshop. And the prioritization of stakeholder engagement will make this study more informed, transparent, and accountable. So there are 6 special requirements that should be involved in the study. First, the scope and scale of the study should at the multiple spatial and temporal scale with emphasis on local impact. Second, in this study, the project center goals should be replaced by broader development vision, which is the and should be consistent with relevant SDGs. And also the process of environmental impact assessment should be supplemented by integrating the donut framework that visualize the safe operating space for economic activities within acceptable environmental limits. And the study should internalize the value of ecosystem services and analyze how these estimates might change under different development scenarios and different assumptions about key variables. And the study should suggest an insurance bonds or other strategies to deal with risk uncertainty and discounting the future. And the result of this study should be open access. So the policy instrument that may be used to mitigate the impacts are three: legal instrument, which is promoted by Indonesian government, and then technical instrument such as use alternative mounting, like mixing ground mounted and roof mounted to minimize land conversion, and also provide alternative livelihood and capacity building for impacted people. This is the budget and time frame for the assessment. The budget for the assessment is $500,000, which is 50% of the overall project development budget, and it should be expected to be completed within a year, with a tentative timetable as follows. So the proposal should reach us before the 30th November 2017. And if you need more information, don't hesitate to email us here. Thank you.